Financiero con Carlos Guaman y Gustavo Vargas. Además, historias de nuestros invitados especiales. Un programa educativo especialmente para usted. Una forma sencilla para mejorar las finanzas. Cada martes y jueves le estaremos esperando. Prepárese que ya damos inicio a El Triunfo Financiero.
De los Estados Unidos, hacemos el Triunfo Financiero para todos ustedes, completamente en vivo a través del canal de YouTube de El Triunfo Corporation, a través de nuestra cuenta de Facebook Live y también, por supuesto, las cuentas personales de Carlos Guaman, Gustavo Vargas, Corina Franco, Miriam Mendoza, Tomás Noé, todos involucrados en este proceso de aprendizaje, de crecimiento. Y el día de hoy estamos muy emocionados, realmente muy emocionados. Vamos a tener una visita, de hecho ya tenemos la visita con nosotros el día de hoy de una persona muy especial. Realmente estamos absolutamente halagados, yo creo que de todos los invitados que hemos tenido en más de 2 años de estar haciendo este programa de manera consistente cada semana, yo creo que es una de las personalidades que más nos impresiona a todos. Así que el día de hoy vamos a tener la posibilidad de aprender y de platicar con el dean, o como diríamos en español, el decano, de la Facultad de Negocios de la Universidad de California en Fullerton, Cal State Fullerton. El dean está aquí, es el señor Sundaram. Vamos a platicar con él. Después de esta breve pausa, también tendremos, por supuesto, ya en el panel para platicar con todos nosotros a el señor Carlos Guaman. Así que no se lo pierda, vamos a aprender mucho de negocios, vamos a aprender de becas, vamos a aprender de estudios y vamos a aprender de todo lo que se está enseñando en Cal State Fullerton para incrementar nuestra inteligencia económica y que podamos salir adelante de mejor manera como comunidad. Así que regresamos en unos instantes.
Si tienes una idea innovadora y estás pensando en crear un buen negocio que genere grandes ganancias, o tienes la posibilidad de continuar expandiendo la empresa que ya tienes, llámanos a El Triunfo Corporation. Carlos Guaman es el mentor y asesor en finanzas y economía que grandes compañías ya están buscando para lanzar sus nuevos negocios y construirlos con cimientos muy fuertes y sólidos que puedan sostener el gran éxito que tanto merecen. No arranques tus buenas ideas sin crear un plan estratégico que te lleve a tener grandes ganancias para alcanzar la libertad financiera. Hoy es el mejor día para llamar al 714-953-2707. 714-953-2707. Carlos Guaman, CEO del Triunfo Corporation, tiene la amplia experiencia, preparación profesional, la visión empresarial y la buena voluntad que has estado buscando. Haz tu sueño realidad. Dirígete hacia el triunfo con Carlos Guaman del Triunfo Corporation. Esperamos pronto tu llamada al 714-953-2707. 714-953-2707.
Estamos de regreso y bueno, sin más preámbulos, vamos a recibir a don Carlos Guaman y a nuestro invitado de lujo de la noche del día de hoy. Él es, como le dije, el decano de la Facultad de Negocios de la Escuela de Negocios de la Universidad de California en Fullerton, Cal State Fullerton. Sridhar Sundaram está con nosotros. Don Carlos Guaman, muy buenas noches a todos. Vamos a la toma abierta para que todo el mundo vea lo que está pasando aquí.
¿Cómo está, Gustavo? Buenas noches. Dean, it's always a pleasure to have you here, especially when I am one of the students who Cal State Fullerton.
Yes,
so it feels so good and honored to have you here. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Very happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
A proud Titan here.
Oh, yes. That's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Absolutely.
Once a Titan, always a Titan.
Always a Titan.
Yes.
That is, you said it perfectly.
Okie dokie. Well, we want to talk to you about what, first of all, we need to give you the welcome. Mm-hmm. You're kind of brand new here in the community.
Right.
You've been transferring from some of the state. You will let us know the story. And you're here now to serve our community. Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell us about your past and your move and how you like so far Southern California?
Absolutely. Thank you, Gustavo. Again, thank you, Carlos, for having me. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm originally from India and came to the country. I came from a family business background. I came here to do an MBA, and actually I was going to go back and run business. But things changed as I decided to do a doctorate in finance. Mm-hmm. But I did that originally in Illinois, And my first job was in Kansas, was there for about 11 years. Then moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I was there for 15 years. Another 5 years now, the last 5 years was in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, in St. Petersburg. But when this job opportunity came, it was a tremendous professional opportunity to lead one of the largest college of businesses in the country and the largest business school here in California. So we said, you know what, this is a great opportunity that I want to take this challenge and an opportunity to have an impact in the Orange County area, both by developing great talent, but also doing other things that are through our centers of excellence to have an impact. We love it here. We live in Placentia, so we found a place that was close enough, so 8 minutes to work.
Yes,
and,
that's always cool.
Which is one of the advice I was given when I first came here. We love it very much. Enjoy it here. Getting used to the place, getting to know people, the community, and I think that's what makes it home. Is as you get to know the people in the community, and I'm getting to know my students most importantly. So, which has been fantastic.
Yes, especially living now close to College of Fullerton is important. The 57 freeway traffic.
That's right. yeah, exactly. Every time I see that, I'm glad I'm not on the highway. I'm on the freeway, but I'm closer to work. And it makes it easy for my work. I come about 7:30 in the morning, and by the time I get back, it's 6:37 in the evening. So it's nice to be able to be closer to home.
Yes. And how do you like the new College of Business? It's a new name, original name, classic, we can say. And now you have more than 9,000 students?
That's right. So we have a little over 9,000 students, about 8,500 undergraduate students, about another 700 graduate students. And so that's the head count. So we are clearly extremely large, predominantly an undergraduate institution, but one of the largest institutions with about 160 full-time faculty, another 150 part-time faculty, and about 80 staff members.
Wow. See, Gustavo, we can consider College of Fullerton the Harvard of the Orange County area.
Yeah, pretty much I would say that, especially not only with the numbers, but also with the results that you guys are getting from.
Right. I think that's one of the things, what I love about it is that if you look at our student population, we have so many of them, 40% are first generation. About 55% of our students are transfer students. They go to community college for 2 years, then come to us. So we have a lot of them do work actually, are trying to either build a family and at the same time coming to school. So we not only provide what we do in the classroom, but outside the classroom, what can we do to support them? Those are two things that are really important. And that's really why we have the success what we do have at this point in time.
Awesome. Now, let's talk about the entrepreneurship and especially business, because that's your bread and butter.
That's right.
Yes.
How do you see our community in a whole as an entrepreneurs? What's your perspective?
I think it's so important if you look at every community, small businesses are critical. And especially entrepreneurial businesses are going to be critical. What we're doing is two things. On the academic side, we have an entrepreneur program. So as a student, you can become an entrepreneurial, have a concentration in entrepreneurship, understanding how do you develop businesses. But we have a couple of centers that also help support, small businesses. Our SBDC is one of the largest SBDCs that are supporting business in the community, especially if you look at Orange County. We also have a Center for Entrepreneurship that also has an incubator program. So any new businesses that want to come in, we can support them, help them grow. And the last one is family-owned business, which is one of the areas that I want to grow. The Center for Family-Owned Businesses supports most of the family businesses here in the area. Anything that they want to understand, succession planning, how do we grow, bring in professionals to that. And most of our business in the community are family businesses. And I think that's where we can really be impactful.
Yes, and there is also one center that I'm part of. I am the board of directors, the Center for Leadership.
That's right.
That's probably one of the best, in the biggest in the nation.
Right.
Because we have literally everything. And there is a new building that's going to be starting really soon, right?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up, Carlos, is that the Center for Leadership under Jay Barbuda has done a fantastic job. So when I came, one of the visions for one of our donors, Terry Giles, who's an alumna of the Cal State Fullerton College of Business Economics, he really had a vision to say, we want to bring a new building for it. So the budget is a $20 million building. We really started to do some serious fundraising. I think we are about $5 million. We have pledges and gifts already. And the goal is to start the design phase and complete all of this in 3 years. The building is going to be adjacent to a College of Business and Economics, where the Orange Grove is. And they'll become the home, and not only for the Center for Leadership, but we're also looking at Werner Erhard, that it's a library. His leadership framework is going to be, and we'll be offering his leadership course there. So those are the two things that'll be there in the building.
Yeah, that's important. When you see Orange County being one of the most successful county in the whole nation, you need to have leadership that actually help the community and at the same time guide the whole United States. We're an example of what's going on in the country.
Yeah, that is true. Can you elaborate a little bit about it?
And I think what we really believe in that is that in anything, we have to develop our leaders. Our students are clearly the critical one. So what we have in the leadership program is various things that the Center for Leadership offers the students are asked to take. And what they've done is a very interesting job is that we give you a scholarship, but here are 10 workshops. Every workshop you go, you can earn $200 in scholarship. So it allows them to say, you know what, you can't tell me that I can't take 2 hours, I have to work. Now you can come there, attend the workshop, and you get the scholarship. So, but by taking the scholarship, let's say, for example, one of the key things is understanding the basics of leadership. The next time you're talking about more strategy about leadership, now you're starting to slowly build those skills up to our students. But we also think it's equally important that we support the community. So any businesses, a lot of time the entrepreneurs have the technical skills, but may not have the leadership skill. So you're able to grow the business to a certain extent, but how do you scale it to the next level? And that's where they can get training through the Center for Leadership to become strategic leaders and be able to grow the businesses.
So it's a process, right? Yes. Now, tell us, Mr. Sundaram, what is the ideal student to attend this school of Center for Leadership and also the School of Business as well? Right.
So when we look at the students, I really look at two separate, distinctive populations. One is students coming right out of high school. They come to college, they come in and they're really hungry, they're young. So when we look at those students, what we really are looking for is that one, are you dedicated to your academics? Can you study hard, make sure you're disciplined and you're able to. But it's not only that, what we try, our philosophy is 3 things. Is that we want to give you the most important knowledge. Data analytics is a key aspect. We are trying to now build data analytics to every part of the curriculum because the student needs to know it doesn't matter where they go to work, that's going to be important.
Correct.
Second is, okay, we teach you theory, can you apply this in practical? So we are helping them provide, whether it's internships, cases, or other consultancy, various projects where they can take the knowledge that they have and apply in practice. And the third thing we focus on is really growing you as a person. Because you may come from a first generation, you may not have the network. How can we build those opportunities for you? So that's why we have like a mentorship program. I know you're Carlos.
Yes, I am a mentor.
Right? And so we have mentorship programs so they can go and ask and say, Gustavo, sir, what can I do if I want to get into journalism or if I want to get into a business area? And also getting some advice on, saying that, I'm having some difficulty dealing with this, what would be the best way to approach? And that's where this helping them grow as an individual becomes a critical part of our success. So for the students coming in, what we really look at is be dedicated to it, be disciplined, take advantage of all the things we do. We are going to have this, all of these available to you. And I think the students who are successful take advantage of that. The community college students are coming in, they come in 2 years. We're making sure they give them a good advising and they need slightly different. They don't, they have limited amount of time. So starting to look at various ways we can offer classes and other things, not only in person, but also evening classes or online classes that helps them to take the degree program that's convenient for them.
This is so convenient, Gustavo, because now what you're saying, Dean, is exactly what I lived back in the days. When I started around 2006, in Cal State Fullerton, it was living exactly the same. Whatever I get in knowledge, I will put it in practice the next day. There were some occasions I ended up going back to the office and say, oh, this is how you do this thing and get it done. You get a lot of solutions in the school, but when you put it in practice, even better.
That's right.
Yes, it is so practical. Going through Cal State Fullerton means so close. You don't have to drive more than 20 minutes to get there, especially with traffic 40. But you don't have to pay the tuitions. They are so expensive. Let's say if you go to UCI or UCLA or even Chapman around here, How much is usually a tuition during normal circumstances?
Normal circumstances, so it's about $6,000 in tuition, and if you look at additional, it's going to be just living expenses.
Yes.
So really, very, very reasonable when you look at the return on investment.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's and as you said, 80% of our students stay in Orange County. So it's a phenomenal benefit for the community because everybody goes to the college, comes back to the community, works in the community. So one of the key things we're focusing on now is alumni engagement. We want to make sure that we engage with our alumni here.
Yes.
Because they're also an important component of supporting our students. The alumni are very passionate. And you're a great example. You come back, you're recruiting students from us, you're mentoring our students, but you're also helping them understand the opportunities here in Orange County.
Yeah, there is a huge opportunity. Some people take it for granted, trying to spend thousands and thousands of dollars going outside the state.
Yep.
Yeah. You say, why are you going to study business in New York? Why are you, Texas, or any you're going to pay outside of state tuition if you can get it right here in your backyard? Convenience,
absolutely.
The best student. Tell me about more the faculty, because we have one of the best faculty in the country.
Absolutely. It's so exciting because I just recruited our faculty for next year. Nice. And we are recruited about 10 new faculty coming in. That's just an example of the kind of faculty and I'll tell you. So the kind of faculty we're attracting is top line faculty. They have very interesting ideas. We're faculty for supply chain. We're recruiting faculty for marketing, and we're recruiting faculty for finance. So the kind of faculty, young faculty that are coming in with new ideas, that's the kind of faculty I'm looking for that are also interested in supporting the students.
Yes.
Right. And they look at the diversity of our students and say, that's what excites me. That's why I wanted you to come. The existing faculty, and if you ask, this is one of the first questions I asked last year when I had a meeting with all of them, is that, what is it about, the college and the university that attracts you? It is the students, the passion they have for the students. But they're also, just the last, I'll give you two examples. There are two faculty that came up, they're, retiring. They said, we want to give back to our students. They're setting up scholarships. Excellent. They both set up scholarships to support the students. Two recent faculty, we're coming up, we started a newsletter, monthly newsletter that's coming to everyone. These are faculty, recognized by their profession at the highest level. So, this is an information systems faculty. They're called IEEE, is their association, and is one of the highest recognition. And we just gave that recognition to one of our faculty. So that's the type of faculty we have.
Yes, and that's a critical portion of any university. When you don't have to pay the high-end hundreds of thousands tuition when you have somebody locally.
Right.
Yeah, and also another important thing, being part of the college of business, is that you have a lot of groups of students. You have for the accounting, finance, and maybe 100 of those organizations, right? Just for the students itself.
There are at least, we have 25 organizations, student organizations. And I think that's an important part of it, because if you come to the, our, college, right next to is a courtyard, they'll set up the, as you see. And I think that gives them that social connections, as they grow, they have pressures of the life, but when you have friends through these student organizations, that it helps them tremendously. But also the second aspect is we have Titan Capital Management is another one. It gives them, tomorrow, our students are competing in what we call a CFA investment challenge. What they do is they look, they have a company that's given to them. They evaluate the company, they identify the value of the company, and they have to defend in a panel of judges from the industry to say why I think this should be the stock price, whether you should buy or sell or hold the company. And we give that kind of practical experience through those centers.
Hands-on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now suddenly somebody sitting on the other side as a judge looks at a talent like that and say, I want this person to come and work for me, right? So that's the other side of the benefit we get from this.
Yeah, and there is one organization, they actually have real money investing in the stock market.
That's the Titan Capital Management. It's about $2.5 million that our students manage.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes, and they're working out. When you get into the second floor of the College of Business, you pass by and then you see they're working there and see the stock market going up and down, and they have real money investing. Yeah. And the money that is outside for the dividends, they reinvest it back in the organization.
Exactly. So every year, what they've done is they take the distributions from that, and they give scholarships. They reinvest back in, supporting their own expenses for student travel and things like that. But that's what is fun about it, is that they're starting to see, and they benchmark against S&P 500.
Correct.
So they look at it and say, okay, here's how the market did, and can we be better? And overall, in the long term, if you look at a 5-year return, they actually done better than the market.
Wow.
The risk is slightly higher, but still they've done a fantastic job. But they have a group of industry folks that are working closely with them. So they really get the advice of all of them and the shared knowledge from the industry and the community. And I think that's what makes it special.
Yes, that really makes it special. That was one of the reasons why I went back to get my MBA. Is it, if I pay, let's say, a business coach or a financial advisor to guide me, it's going to cost $500, maybe $1,000 an hour. You said, how much is the MBA?
Yeah.
The MBA is not that expensive. Right. It's less than $40,000, right?
Right.
That's including books. And parking.
Books. Yes. And parking.
Yes.
Not the lunches, right?
Not the lunches. That one you have to pay outside. And the Starbucks, that's extra.
That's right.
We have a Starbucks inside the college business.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's one of the busiest in the Starbucks in the area.
Yeah.
Yes. And I see, I'm going to have somebody with a 20 plus year experience in business. They have a PhD.
Right.
And have all the knowledge. And I'm going to have students going to be working with me and say, this is the cheapest education I can ever get.
Right.
And plus, at the same time, I'm going to get the most illustration for any type of business.
That's right.
Either you're going for the HR or you're going for the operations management or IT or ISDS.
That's right.
Yeah. So
ISDS.
one of the most difficult class. It's a lot of data and analytics.
Now you do the consultancy project too,
Exactly.
right?
Yes, we did a consulting. They have if you have a business right now and you want the students to go over and say, I want my company to be 100% reviewed by MBA graduates because that is the last class.
Right.
They're going to go over for the whole semester studying the marketing, accounting, finance, HR, operations, and they give you a business plan so you can go move on.
Yeah. That is great.
It's awesome.
And it's great for the student because they're facing the real world, real challenges, real problems. No?
Exactly. And for a graduate student, I think you want that hands-on experience to be able to do that. And I think that's what this program allows us to do. And we're going to start to innovate a little bit more. Part of it is we're also building a study abroad program for the graduate students, which is short-term. And, this is some of the things that I'm bringing from my past experiences is we, run a class like managing global teams. And we would do the class for, within 3 or 4 weeks. And then we would spend 10 days taking them to 2 different countries to see how teams work there. Because that's real world. I mean, today, all of us have connections, in different parts of the world that we work with as partners. So how do we help them? So in a similar fashion, what we're going to look at our faculty are looking at different things. Supply chain is one of the areas that we will start to build that in and provide our graduate students the same experience. And the Center for Leadership, my goal is to bring it. So we would give a leadership program. So every one of our MBA students walk away with a certificate in leadership. So those are some of the things we're building innovate into the new program.
That is great. Now, speaking of challenges, you mentioned challenges before. What would you say are the challenges for you specifically? Right. What do you have to achieve? What's your goals in the entrepreneurial program that you guys have at Cal State Fullerton?
Right. In any organization, so first thing I always told them is that I need to come in, understand the organization. So it's been 8 months. So definitely have a much better feel. One is to make sure that there's a clear vision for where we need to go. So we're going through a strategic planning process to say, okay, what's our vision? And there are two things for us is that one is the academic side and then the centers. So we really want to make sure we are very clear about the student population, what kind of education we want to have. So we really want to build about innovative programs that gives the students an experience that will benefit them greatly, but also serves in the community that way. So when you look at the challenges, the question is, one, how do we build innovation into the mindset of a higher education? And the second aspect is really always is the funding. Right now, the challenges the last 2 years, we had a lot of funding cut. So we are trying to look at and say, how can we bring alternative revenues to the program that can help support our students. And that's where philanthropy has been really good about getting students, more and more donors have really supported us, not only on scholarship, but also supporting, for example, like the Center for Leadership building. So I think that's been one of the third aspect is really recruiting the right people, faculty and staff, making sure we build a team. And I think
human factor.
Exactly, the human factor. So once we have that, I think we'll be great, really positioned well. The final aspect is building some good processes. So everything, we can have the best plan, but if you don't have the good process, we can execute it well. So I think that's the final aspect of it. So I think the biggest challenge right now for us is really understanding who we are, where we want to go, and how we're going to do that. And I think that's really what the plan I'm designing to make sure that we have, and all of us understand where we're headed together.
Muy bien. ¿Qué tal si tomamos una pausa, don Carlos?
Perfect. So we're going to go back in 1 minute and see. We're going to continue on because there is a lot of money if you want to go back to school. Just give it a minute.
El Triunfo Corporation, una firma empresarial completa. En el Triunfo Corporation, Carlos Guaman y su equipo de expertos le ayudan en todo lo que necesite para su negocio. Prepárese con su corporación y tenga su contabilidad al día. Hasta con un ITIN number, usted puede ser dueño de su propia corporación y ahorrarse miles de dólares en impuestos. El Triunfo Corporation, una firma empresarial completa. Todo lo que necesita para tener un negocio exitoso. Contabilidad, impuestos personales y de su negocio, seguros de vida, 401ks y los mejores planes de jubilación. Llame ahora para una cita al 888-414-7944. 888-414-7944. 888-414-7944. El Triunfo Corporation, una firma empresarial completa. Y si quiere empezar una nueva y lucrativa carrera en el mundo de las finanzas, en el Triunfo Corporation nosotros personalmente le entrenamos. 888-414-7944. 888-414-7944. Carlos Guaman y sus expertos, esperamos tu llamada.
Muchísimas gracias por aquí seguirnos en el Triunfo Financiero. We're doing this one in English today because we are so glad that we have one of the best deans in the whole nation, the College of Business for Cal State Fullerton. You're not going to believe it, but Fullerton is the second biggest?
The second biggest based on undergraduate enrollment.
Look at that.
The second in the nation.
In the nation.
And I would say in the whole North America.
Yes.
Yes, we can literally say that.
Yeah.
I think we're bigger than UNAM.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
In the UNAM, the University of Mexico is huge.
Okay.
But still, you guys beat us.
Is that right? Good.
Yes. Okay. Because College of Fullerton, it distributed students every time there is a graduation. How many graduates every year?
I know we graduate, I think, through the year, actually close to 3,000 students.
3,000 students. Look at that. 3,000 students is a lot of people that coming into.
It is a lot of people.
Yeah, and the best part of the College of Fullerton is right here. You don't have to go outside.
Right.
You have to continue on. And when I say, hello, I'm an entrepreneur, it's because the College of Fullerton has two certifications for business, right? One is?
Your certificates you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. Obviously, you can get the business, BA degree.
Yes.
And then, you can do, your BS degree.
Yes.
But are you looking at concentrations or?
No, the certification, the College of Business has one for accounting. And
right.
Yes. What is
That's
that?
right.
What is they called? AIC is a bunch of initials.
That's right. CPA.
Yes.
The CPA, you can get a certification.
Yeah.
If you're in accounting, and if you're in finance, for example, you can get the CFA.
Correct.
Or you can get the CFP. So those are all professional certifications. So depending on which area you are, we can prepare you for that.
Yeah. As soon as you graduate, you go straight take the exam. Yeah. So you don't have to wait.
You have to wait.
Well, you prepare you. Our curriculum prepares you well for it, and that's what's nice about it. Is in the accounting side of it will prepare you well for the the CPA exam.
Yes, and also College of Fullerton has another unique factor in the Orange County area because you can go to Santa Ana College, do your first 2 years, and then you can transfer.
Right.
And it is even a lot cheaper doing it that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it is probably one of the best ideas.
Yeah.
If you want to go super fast track in Santa Ana College, they have a program. If you are in high school, you can still take a couple classes in Santa Ana College so that you can finish the undergrad, the basic classes, and then from there transfer to College of Fullerton, you can do in 3 years.
There you go.
If you want to go eager, say finish it really
Exactly.
fast.
Yes. And it's extremely cheap. You're right.
Yes.
And it's a well-constructed pathway. So they know exactly what classes you need to take. You take that in a Santa Ana college and then come here and take these classes. You can be done.
You can be there.
Now, you were talking about challenges.
Yeah.
What about the COVID factor?
Right.
How
That's-
challenging is that, or was that?
It has been very challenging. And what is done is, and let me put that in maybe two things one of the biggest things was, the students, we were obviously for 18 months, we were not anywhere in the campus. So it really made a big difference for the students, especially if they have to be at home trying to, one, do they have the technology to do it? Two, does a home where they have so many distractions, can you really focus on the classroom? So that made it quite a bit challenging, even though the university did a good job of trying to provide the technology and support it. It's really took about a semester for everybody to settle down. And for the faculty who had not taught online, this is the first time teaching online. We used to teach about 90% of all the students used to come to campus. Now we're doing about 70%, 30% we offer online. But about 18 months later, when we came back, what we realized is that some of the things is the anxiety of the students coming back. Some of them have lost family members in this, so they were impacted quite a bit. So really the mental health of the students and the faculty and staff are a critical part of it. That I think was the biggest challenge. So for me, how do we increase the morale of it? But the second aspect is suddenly the students are also asking for something different. Hey, I don't mind coming to school a couple of days, but I want some classes online. So that's another reason that we had to look at it and say we need to change. We cannot be just offering 10%. Let's increase it to 30%. So we are addressing the needs of the students so they can take it from home, but they can still take majority of the classes coming here. So I think that's the biggest change that's happened. But the nice part about it is you can come and find parking.
Yes. During the whole COVID, there is a nice construction.
Right.
So one of the most challenging things going to College Fullerton is find parking.
Yeah.
But there is always a way when you go there. And figure out if you don't park in the regular parking structure, you just cross the street from used to be the College of Business.
That's right.
And then you always find parking. But some
That's
people don't like to cross the street.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice tip from Carlos.
Yes, you need to find every single opportunity to find parking in Cal State Fullerton. But now there is 2 parking instructors right next to the College of Business, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was a great investment.
Exactly. But, I want to come back to one of the other things that's happened the post-pandemic is that the landscape of higher education is changing. And what I mean by that is previously our competition was Chapman, UCI. But today what's happened is that you can have classes coming from Arizona State has a campus, virtual campus. You have obviously University of Phoenix, but now you have Coursera, LinkedIn offering classes and certifications. So suddenly our competition has become much more intense from outside.
Correct.
So we really need to understand and help our students think and say, what we are able to provide you is not only the content, but we are also able to provide you the support that you need. And that's what the difference is about coming to Cal State Fullerton and the College of Business and Economics. So that's part of it is really helping them understand that if you're young, you're looking for support, you're not going to get that from the others. You need to come to campus or come to us so we can provide you the whole package.
Yes, at the end of the day, the certification that Cal State Fullerton gives you has also the certification you can go to another university.
Right.
Because most of those online courses, they're not giving any certification. And when you're trying to transfer, they don't accept it.
Right.
With Cal State Fullerton, you get it.
Going to get that.
Yes.
And you get the network.
Yes, that's another huge opportunity network.
Right.
I'm working now with my classmates. So
Exactly.
they're giving me business, I give them business.
Right.
I'm working with professors. So they come here in the office, I see exactly. It's so convenient when you have a close enough relationship.
Right.
And when I come back for the MBA, they say, one of the best things I'm going to do for the undergrads, people who are listening to this, please. When you are on the undergrads, you usually trying to just get around, get the degree, and walk out of the way. Big mistake.
No,
Don't do that. Don't do that. I made that mistake. I say, when I come back for the MBA, I'm going to do this, everything different. I'm going to talk to everybody who walks around in that school. from the janitor all the way to the Starbucks, the professor, organization, anybody. So at the end of the day, they know who was Carlos Guaman when they finished the program.
Yeah.
They even know what was my car. Remember, I used to drive a BMW and say, El Triunfo. I say, I saw you. Hey, part of the networking.
Yes.
So you have to get involved.
Right.
One of the most difficult things for the students nowadays is getting involved.
Right.
You don't have to be shy sitting in the back.
Right.
You have to talk to a professor. They're there for you. And when they're there for you, there is money there on the scholarship. So
Right.
can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes. So what we do is on the scholarship, we are literally giving over $600,000 in scholarship every year from the college, just from the college. This doesn't even include the university. So what we really would love to make sure is that our students need to make sure they apply for the scholarship. That's one of the key things. So my goal is to make sure the process is simple. And so we're going to improve the process. So if any of you want to apply, it should be one simple application that we're able to get. And then wherever you're eligible, then we can get you the scholarship. So the goal is really to make it simple, but I still need to make sure that the students apply. And a lot of times it takes maybe writing a little bit of a short essay, and the students don't want to do that. And I think we wanted to make sure this is money that's there for you. So please make sure you apply.
It is free money.
It is free money.
It is
Good money.
Every hour that you spend trying to get a scholarship, Gustavo, is like paying you $500 an hour.
Yeah.
Where are you going to get that return on investment?
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Now, when's the right time to apply for those scholarships?
Right. So it would be typically in the beginning of the fall semester. So, we would apply, most of the scholarship is done at the beginning of the fall semester. Some may come at the, in the spring semester. So, but I would say this summer, apply for all the scholarship that's there, eligible for the whole year. And if there's anything else, you can always check with the dean's office. Come to the third floor at the dean's office. We can tell you what scholarships are still available, so you can apply to them.
There is 2 scholarships for El Triunfo Corporation.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, if you go to the Center of Leadership, there is 2 scholarships. That is fun when they say, "Oh, so you are Carlos, the one who's giving the money." Say, "I am." I say, "I'm part of the organization that can give you the money, and the only thing you have to apply."
And the other thing,
how simple is that?
Yeah, and as I was telling, I think Carlos, as a Center for Leadership, they have a nice model. You go and attend, and so different workshops, and you earn scholarship. So the amount of scholarship you earn is the amount of time you put in.
Yep.
So thanks for doing that, because
My pleasure.
Students I signed off, I had students getting $200, some all the way up to $1,500 because they were doing a lot of different things for that.
So that's important. When you are part of an organization, they're doing something right, and they're helping the community, they're helping the student, you get a nice result with them.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, no?
So it's a win-win situation, right?
Yeah, you read what you saw.
Exactly.
Awesome. Bueno, estamos platicando en la noche de hoy con el nuevo dean, el nuevo encargado de la Facultad de Negocios de la Universidad de Cal State Fullerton. Y estamos hablando de todo lo que usted puede beneficiarse. Así que espero que entienda usted un poquitito de inglés. Y por favor, si no entiende mucho, póngase con sus hijos a ver este programa. Es muy importante toda la información que está compartiendo el señor Sundaram en la noche del día de hoy. So let's go back to opportunities. Okay. There's plenty of opportunities at Cal State Fullerton. It's not only the opportunities of getting a scholarship, but also at the same time, as Carlos just mentioned, you get to know people.
Right.
And that is critical.
Right. So I think there are multiple ways the students can do that. And I think this is the student engagement is really, one is through student organizations. We talked about that. I think that's really, really important for 2 reasons. One, it's not only socially you get to know others, but they also can take on leadership. And I think that's a good experience for students to start taking on leadership. We have there's an association at the university level. Many of our students take on leadership. It's a great way to experience how do you lead teams? How do you make sure? So I think that's important. The second one is really the networking is through our mentors.
Correct.
There's multiple mentorship programs. We have an executive and residence mentorship program at the college level. We also have the mentorship through other programs like the Center for Leadership, Women in Leadership program. So there's a lot of different mentorship programs. Choose anything that you feel comfortable with and meet with a mentor. And the mentors are typically from the community. They're leaders, business leaders. And that is a second way of getting more knowledge in a network is getting advice on how we can continue to grow. And I'll give you a very simple example. We had one of our mentors who were talking about his mentee wanted to get into sports marketing. And so, she said, I want to go to Disney. And I said, well, that's fine. But have you gone to the Cal State Fullerton sports, baseball team? Have you talked to them? Have you met them and see what experience you get? And he made a connection to them. And she could immediately had an opportunity to do an internship there. And now she's benefiting from that. So it's really a simple relationship with a mentor that connected within the university. Now she has a fantastic, and then eventually we're going to be building relationships, with whether it is the Anaheim Ducks or other organizations, that allows us to now slowly scale. But let's start with the college itself or the university. And that's the kind of advice you get from mentors.
Yeah, it is completely free.
Yeah.
Imagine, Gustavo, when you're back to school and say, I'm going to give you a mentor who's going to help you to walk through the whole process of the College of Business, and also going to help you with in the whatever industry you are going to focus on. And at the same time, going to help you to get an internship.
What about that? I will say yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately.
Right.
I didn't have a chance, we got to look for it on our own. And the Cal State Fullerton, it's another story.
Right. And I think the only thing, as Carla said, is that we need our students to make sure that they stay there, engage, with the university and the college, because I think that's really important. And when you're, 20, 21, 22, sometimes we don't realize how important that is.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think this message is important, that please they make sure you take advantage of the 4 years you're there or the 2 years you're there, because it can really have a huge impact on your life. There's another story, I was talking to a couple that actually gave, was a donor last year, and husband and wife, both are alumni, and they started a business because of the relationship they started off at Cal State Fullerton.
Yeah.
And it's a meat business that they're running really well, very successful, but it is from the network that they had from Cal State Fullerton as undergraduates.
Yeah, those are super important. And let me ask you this question: do you recommend any student to start working in the industry they're gonna start working on when they graduate, how soon they're gonna start that, or do you think they can get any job, just go through the school and then start working? What are your recommendations there?
I think, Carlos, you both know the answer. You're absolutely right. You need to start as early as possible. And here's the most important thing, is that sometimes we think, I really like this particular industry. And you go work and you find out that this is not what I want. I'll just use accounting as an example and say, accounting is a great profession. Some people are going to love it. Some people just find out, I don't want to be behind doing auditing all the time. And there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes these work experience helps you find that and say, okay, this is not for it. Let me start to do that. If you finish graduation, if you start working full time, now the risk is too high for you to be able to move from one job to another job.
Yep, correct.
So that's why I think it's even more important for them to start this early. And the second one is learning how to work in a practical setting.
Yeah.
You go to an office, you got to be disciplined, you have responsibility, and you have to learn to work with others. And so I think that those are skills you pick up when you work. And so that's why please do start when you're in college.
Students, parents, please push your children, your students, say, let's do this from the beginning. Don't just get at work for the summer, just whatever working, just to pay for the school. Try to get involved in the right industry at the right time, because it will save you headaches, money, and you will see how much you like it. Because I usually in accounting say, I like numbers. Maybe you don't at the end of the day.
That's right.
But when you see it in the real life, you will understand if that was for you. So you don't waste a year or two in your life.
Yes, absolutely correct. So please start early.
Yes.
Empiecen temprano. Ok, nosotros vamos a comenzar, después de una pausa vamos a recomenzar. Le invitamos a que se quede con nosotros. We're going to take a very short break and we'll be right back.
En el Triunfo Corporation proveemos servicios de contabilidad profesional. Con nuestro servicio, tú manejas tu negocio, nosotros corremos los números. Tienes bastante que hacer con la gestión de tu negocio. Deja que nuestro experimentado equipo se encargue de todo el complejo trabajo de contabilidad, incluida la clasificación de transacciones diarias y el seguimiento de gastos, nómina, pago y facturación. En el Triunfo Corporation nos aseguraremos de que siempre tenga una idea clara de su situación financiera. Confíe en que su trabajo de contabilidad administrativa se procesa de manera precisa y oportuna. Ahorre tiempo valioso, recupere todas esas horas dedicadas a la contabilidad y utilícelas para hacer avanzar su negocio. El Triunfo Corporation, localizado en el 1415 al este de la 17 Street en Santa Ana, California. Llámenos al 714-953-2707. 714-953-2707. Encuéntrenos en todas las redes sociales y cada semana en el Triunfo Financiero.
Estamos de regreso. Ya sabe que todas las noches de jueves tenemos el Triunfo Financiero directamente desde los estudios del Triunfo Corporation, una firma empresarial completa, completamente en vivo. Obviamente esto se queda para que usted lo vuelva a ver. Ya sabe que le pedimos siempre 3 cosas: véanos, compártanos y coméntenos, ¿ok? Ahora, ¿qué es lo que puede hacer? Puede ir, por ejemplo, a nuestra página de Facebook, donde ahí va a estar esta transmisión, o también puede ir a nuestro canal de YouTube y buscar el Triunfo Corporation. Ahí va a encontrar esta conversación con el dean, con el decano de la Facultad de Negocios de la Universidad Estatal de California en Fullerton, Fullerton, el señor Sundaram. Así que siga usted con nosotros y por favor, coméntenos. Dele un like a nuestra página de YouTube para que le alertemos cada vez que estamos saliendo en vivo, para que pueda usted también unirse a la conversación. Y bueno, vamos a continuar con el señor Sundaram y también con Carlos Guaman, porque hay mensajes, don Carlos, gente que está participando activamente.
Yes, we do have some messages over there, Mr. Tomás. Let's put it on. All right. So we have Irma Barrientos. She say hello.
Hello, Irma.
Okay. Corina Franco say great information. Thank you, Corina. Yes. And we have also ¿Cuánto vale la inscripción? She said, how much is to the tuition a year?
As I said, it's about $6,000.
Yeah,
$6,000. Okay. Oh my God. And I'm going to share something very personal today.
Yes, go ahead.
Me and my wife, we were in this meeting with the counselor of our kid. He's 17 years old.
Yeah.
And we are worried because we want him the best for him. And he's a junior right now at high school. He's going to turn 18 next year. And we're looking forward to do something with him. And I believe Cal State Fullerton will be a great opportunity for him.
It is a great opportunity for him.
Not only is near to home, but also we got connections right there.
Please have him come and talk to me.
Yes. We'll
very
make
happy
it
to talk. Yes.
Yeah, and if he goes to the Center for Leadership, he's going to get a scholarship.
Yeah. And you know what? When you say $6,000,
$6,000.
Oh my God, that's incredible. I mean, the tuition at the high school is like 3 times that.
Well, that's it. And by the time you do the scholarships and everything else, again, this is not including, any residential expenses and so on. But usually within $6,000 to $8,000 is all it costs you on a yearly basis, which is extremely cheap.
It's pretty affordable. And if you cannot afford it, do the extra work, write some letters, look for scholarships, look for grants, work extra hours, make it happen.
Yeah.
Just make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
There's a lot of scholarships available, so please do, come and talk to us. Yes.
Perfect. We have some more comments over there. Okay, we got the next one. Y Miguel Limón dice, saludos desde Moreno Valley.
Moreno Valley, California.
Okay. And Hugo Lopez said, buen programa. All right, perfect. Great. Let's continue on because times fly when you're having so much fun.
Oh, yes, we're running out.
It's almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Do you have any?
Yes, we have the alumni. That's another great program. When you graduate, there is always a continuation of the school. It's not like you graduate, say, kiss a goodbye, you never seen that school ever again. What is the programs you have after you graduate?
Yes. So one of the key things I'm focusing on, and you asked me about challenges, but I think it is an opportunity, is to engage our alumni. Just the College of Business and Economics has over 50,000 alumni in the area. So what we're planning to do is to host 2 events every semester. So the first one is going to be at Brewery X in Anaheim. And then we want to move it to different locations, have in Santa Ana, have in other places. And identify places where we have an alumni has a restaurant or something like that, where we want to come in, hear about the story, and then we'll have an opportunity to talk about the college and the university. but also create it in a way that everybody can come and meet each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, Carlos, you want to meet your friends from MBA and your undergraduate.
Yes.
But if we can create the opportunity, that connections happen. And that also becomes not only the social network, but also a potential business network. Or if they're looking for talent and if you want to move to another, this is the best place to find out. So that's our responsibility to connect with them. The second thing we feel it's really important is that our alumni is the best recruiters of our students.
Yes.
And so we're making sure that we connect our students with our alumni. So that's the second step we are going to make sure is that please come and meet our students. We have incredible talent coming out of here. It doesn't. We have an honors program. We have some phenomenal students that are coming through our honors program, but rest of our students are also, again, sometimes the GPA may not be reflecting how good they are, simply because they're balancing life, they're balancing family, and they're balancing senior studies. But if you look at, they are one of the hardest workers. They're very understanding and practical. They can lead teams because they're already working. So many of our alumni come back and say, I want to take a 3.0 GPA student, but who's also a very good leader. And we find that in Cal State Fullerton because they have the experience, they're hungry, they want to do well. And what's been amazing about it is that now we're also having our alumni, not only in Orange County, but they're going to all the way to Boston and New York and other places. So very soon you're going to see the Titans all over the country.
All over the place.
Yes. So,
I like something that you just mentioned. It's not only about the GPA. It's more about being a leader.
That's right. And more companies and others are looking at saying that 4.0 GPA is great, but I'd rather take, I want to look at the whole package.
Yeah. You get the whole package.
Oh, yes.
So we discussed that about scholarships. So that's a great topic. Don't forget to apply. Super important. Right. Apply. Because there is nothing worse to leave money on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the same thing when you do in taxes. When you don't take the credit, they are there for you. Just walk through this financial office. You have to fill it out the FAFSA. The FAFSA is important.
Right,
yeah. FAFSA is your best friend.
Yes.
I call it baby FAFSA right now because I say, I want to fill it out the form. And all the parents are trying to do the taxes right away because they want to get the FAFSA done.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that we would love to do at some point in time is maybe, come to different communities before the, each year. We can help parents fill out FAFSA. Sometimes it looks very complicated. It doesn't have to be. With a little bit of help, you can do that. I think that's one of the programs I'd love to start is, where we can come in and every fall semester when high school students are starting to fill out starting to apply, we can come to different communities with our team and say, why don't we help you fill out the FAFSA?
Yeah.
Because that financial aid, if they're eligible, they're going to be eligible for scholarships, grants, but it's important they have an application in place.
Because that's the key. My tax software already filled out the tax portion of the FAFSA. Okay. So when you turn it in and say, here's the form, just say, number one, go with number one, number two, number two. I try to make it as easy as possible because I know how complicated it looks complicated, but it's not that hard.
Right.
It just, it's a government form.
If you're going to get money out of it.
Yes, it's a government form. They're trying to make it complicated so they can justify there is a difficult situation to give you money. But it is money available there. And one of the best things when you're going to get it out, you have to get a partnership from Cal State Fullerton for many different ways. You're going to find your future employees there. Right. You're going to find your classmates. You're going to find employers there. So it is a huge community, partners. So that's why partnership is so important, Cal State Fullerton. Yeah. That was one of the reasons I continue. I didn't tell you this before, but in 2008, I said, I graduated, everything's so cool. In the new College of Business, brand new building, and I look, I said, I'm going to leave, but I'm not going to be studying on this brand new building. I went back to my wife and said, hello, Marian, how are you? And I said, look, I can get another concentration for one more year, and I can study in that College of Business. And she said, okay, go for it. And so I say one more year. I said one more year, and I get a second concentration. Actually, that was the third concentration. I got a concentration on corporate finance and international business, accounting, and finance, personal finance.
Okay.
But this is so important when you get that concentration, because I can get the business from the start all the way to the personal tax return. It's the whole 360.
Yeah.
And that opened a whole branch on a new opportunity. That was the reason I can be talking about money in any direction. Before this Facebook Live, we were doing another Facebook Live with Austin, Texas, with Univision, 41 in San Antonio.
Okay.
And so there is a huge market over there.
It is.
So it helps when you go to school. Some people say they don't, but it's a great opportunity.
Yes, please do. I think it's definitely a worthwhile investment, because you not only gain the knowledge, but as I said, you gain the network, but also it sets you up well. If you look at every data, anyone who has completed a degree, the average salary is so much higher than if you had not completed.
You got numbers?
I do. I don't remember the number, but I'll be happy to send. But I think there is at least from high school to graduation, there's at least a $10,000 to $15,000 difference in salary that you'll make.
There you go.
Yeah, so, and when you get definitely it is. And when you get the higher the education and the knowledge and the network, there is no limit.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's definitely a worthwhile investment. Please make sure. And then I think we are right here in the community, and come and check us out. And again, if anytime you want to bring a high school student, you want to come and check us out, come to the college. I'm on the 3rd floor. Come to the, please come and knock on my door. We're happy to talk to you and explain to you what, I'm a parent of 2 children, so I've gone through the process, and I think we'll be happy to explain to you and saying, here's what we do, and at least consider Cal State Fullerton and the College of Business and Economics.
No, you don't only have to consider it, you have to go there and experience it.
Go there and experience
and we have one more comment, actually. There's Marion that say, Junior say he can't wait to attend to Cal State Fullerton. Excellent show. Thank you very much. So yes, Junior is going to be there.
Now, in regards of partnerships, specifically the business school, what type of partners you guys have currently?
So
to do business with them.
With the business. So what we have done, Gustavo, is that we have 13 centers. And through the centers, we have developed various partners. But if you look at our also academic program, again, I'll use accounting as an example. We have partnership with all of the accounting firms, the big 4, whether it's EY, whether it is PwC, and I was today with RSM. So those connections, they're all alumni. So they're coming and recruiting, but they also come and teach. They come and, so that partnership goes both ways. They're coming and helping us get better, but also they're recruiting our students. We are having partnership with a company called Alteryx, which is a data analytics firm out in Irvine. And we recognize that it is important for our students to know how to, to work with data. So that's a strategic partnership. We're working with them. They actually are providing scholarships for our students to become, scholars, what we call, Alteryx scholars. And they're also helping our faculty become faculty champions and knowing that. So for me, I think those are the important partnerships, what I call strategic partnerships. But we're also going to do that on the social side. So we're going to work with OC Goodwill to make sure that our students can work on projects that impacts the community also.
Nice. So if you mean business, you need to attend the business school of Cal State Fullerton.
I'm going to do another commercial for Cal State Fullerton. If you, let's say, for example, your company, Los Mentores Financiero, Gustavo, you want to bring faculty so they can teach your employees, you can do that.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yes. So they bring faculty to work. You can bring a group of people, 30 employees, so depends how much. And there is one, I think, Professor DC, with the MBA, the concentration professor, he's going to go into Australia or so.
That's right, Lorenzo Busy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So he's going outside the United States to teach
to Italy, right? So Lorenzo reads our honors program, but he's also a faculty, and he's from Italy. So he takes groups of students to to Europe on a regular basis. But he also is one of the people that works with the Center for Leadership to provide training. So we have 3 or 4 professors that go and do training outside for companies, helping them with, how can we work in better teams, things like that. Our strategic leadership, all of that, they're able to provide the training.
Awesome. If there's anything that we didn't ask you, what do you like to say to us? We're running out of time. What would you, let us know that we need to know?
Gustavo, I think we have always been known for the size. We are one of the largest business schools. But I want to make sure we close this by saying that we're one of the best business schools also. The quality of education they will get here because of the faculty and staff that we have and the support we have, it's one of the best education you'll have. The last thing is we also have the best support system because we have some of the best alumni. They always come back and support us and help us grow. So if you're thinking about a place that you want to call it home, please come to Cal State Fullerton and at the College of Business and Economics.
How do you like that, Gustavo?
I love it. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having. Thank you.
Oh,
Carlos.
for
Thank
us,
you,
it's a
Gustavo.
pleasure. And people outside are looking this, they're going to rewatch the whole video again.
yes.
This is one of the beautiful things is that social media help us. And in also the pandemic help us to be different.
Right.
So we reach out
And
more
to grow.
people. Yes. So in one way or another, we are touching families in the community. Because one thing I say, if the community is educated in financial ways, they're going to make a right decision.
Right.
If the students, a Latino student, go to College of Fullerton and get a degree, definitely the whole community is going to be better. So,
And we have 40% of our students are coming from the Latinx community. So,
yes.
when they come here, that's the other thing is they see a great diversity of students, but also they feel like it's coming home.
Yes, and you also have a great percentage of the first
Generation.
Yes, first generation graduate.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah, which is what is that we feel like you're not only helping them transform their lives, but they're changing the lives of their whole family.
Exactly.
because of
Yes,
that. So,
and then generation after generation. So you see how much important it is a university here in Orange County.
It
as
is,
Fullerton.
indeed.
Yes. Thank you so
Thank you very
much.
much.
thank you.
Thank you so much. I really
It's a
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Amigos de las redes sociales, muchísimas gracias. Por favor, como siempre dice Gustavo, tenemos 3 cosas que hacer. Mirarnos, compartirnos y dejarlo saber a más personas de esto cómo estamos. Y coméntenos, no se olviden. Muchísimas gracias, señor Tomás Noé en Producciones. Que tengan una bonita noche. Nos vemos pronto.
Le agradecemos por habernos acompañado una vez más. El Triunfo Financiero, con Carlos Guaman, Gustavo Vargas e invitados. Le esperamos para la próxima. Seguiremos aprendiendo más sobre el mundo de las finanzas. Síganos en nuestras redes sociales, envíenos sus comentarios y recuerde suscribirse a nuestro canal. Y visite nuestro sitio web,